Hey guys, I've got a number of odd jobs that I'm trying to get done in the fish room today, and I thought I'd take you along for the ride and show you some of the little personal touches that I've added to the fish room that make my life a little bit easier, or save me money in some cases. Here's a thing. Come down to my quarantine tank, which has a few bladder snails in it, and I find that they're all the way up at the very top of the tank, and I'm like, what's going on here? Then I put my hand on the tank and discover that the temperature in the tank is over 100 degrees. So the heater's bad. So I just unplugged it. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why I no longer trust aquarium heaters. I ain't got time to deal with this kind of crap. This guy's dipping a toe in. It's like, nope, still too hot. Yeah, come this winter, I'm just going to be heating the room because I'm sick and tired of underwater circuitry. Alright, so the first thing is my water change system. Now, the fish room is in a ground level basement that doesn't have any plumbing actually in it. Like, I don't have water, I don't have a drain. So instead of doing it from a utility sink like a lot of people would, I have this, 38-gallon Home Depot tote sitting up on a platform on top of my fish room shelves. And you can see the blue potable water hose that I've got running to a hookup outside. So that's how I fill it. In fact, I'm filling it right now. One of the challenges with this was figuring out exactly how to tell where the water level was. So I've got one of those cheap floating Walmart thermometers sitting in the holding tank, and you can see that at the other end of a fishing line attached to that thermometer, I've got just a little bit of a chunk of wood there. It weighs almost nothing. It's just there to keep a tiny bit of tension on the line, so that as the float goes up, as the water level rises, this little bit of wood comes down. This is ugly as crap, and someday I want to replace it with something that's going to look a lot nicer and hopefully work better. But for right now, it serves my purposes. You can kind of see it inching down. The water's not filling very quickly. I probably can't hold this steady enough for you to really tell that it's coming down, but trust me, it is, just a little bit. So that's how I know when the water level is more or less filled up. Alright, so it's almost full. My incredibly ugly jury-rigged redneck system here is showing me that it's about time to wander on outside and shut off the water. And once all that's done, the hose stashes more or less neatly in a bin under my racks, so that's pretty cool. Despite the ugliness of the engineering, just rest assured that that is so much better than it used to be. And then, of course, we have the issue of how to get prime all the way up into a tank that's well over my head and covered. And to answer that, I came up with this little pump solution here. So here's basically how this works. Pop off the little dust cover there. I made this out of a couple of syringes and check valves. Let's see. Oh, I haven't even used this prime bottle yet. How about that? Just punch a couple little holes in the foil cap. Pro tip, don't take the foil all the way off. You want to leave a little bit on, because that makes it much easier to control your flow. There we go, that's better. So the syringe is measured off. I'm going to just pour in 5 milliliters, which is a bit much. It's okay, I always overtreat just a little bit. Alright. Then on this syringe over here, y'all can kind of see it peeking out. I raise and I press. And it drains the prime right out of this syringe, which doesn't have the little plunger in it, and pushes it all the way through these air lines up into the holding tank. And then afterward, I usually pour, 20 milliliters or so of water in here and just flush the lines the rest of the way. And that's all there is to it. The next thing I have to do today is I recently finished some DIY glass lids for my 55-gallon tank here. And look, I just want to say, I've got a glass cutting tutorial, and it's one of the most popular videos on this channel, and I don't understand why, because I suck at it. So, yeah, if y'all want to watch somebody cut glass who's actually good at it, you need to go watch Serpa Design, and I'll link to his channel down below. Specifically, one video I watched recently that might actually make me feel a little bit better the next time I need to cut some glass myself. But in any case, I need handles for these. Now, one of the things that I've done that has really helped me plan this fish room a lot better is Flip Aquatics has a long playlist of fish room tours, and I'll link to that down below as well. And it's a fantastic playlist that everybody should watch. And he was touring one person's fish room. I want to say it was Jadron Aquatics. It might have been somebody else, but I think Jason had these command hooks stuck to his lids. And I thought, holy crap, that is so easy to deal with. And then I got poking around on Amazon because command hooks are a little expensive. I mean, they're not too bad. But I found these. And these, you can buy these under a million different brands, so I'm not going to bother linking them. But I thought, hey, that's pretty cool and useful. And these are supposedly rated for 22 pounds, which is way more than a glass panel should ever weigh. So I got these. And I'll show you why. Another reason why I think that this is an improvement over. I think I want to do it this way. I think it's an improvement over the command hooks. Let's see. Let me just stick that down right there. Right up on the edge. Mash it down nice and flat. Try to work out any air bubbles. Oh, about to lose it off the back there. Now these glass panels are just set in place, but there's the rim around the top of the tank. Now I think, let me get some of this junk out of the way. I think it'll be fine to, as long as I'm careful, which I usually am, to just kind of treat it like a hinge back in the back. And then with these hooks that I picked here, if you have some way of making a loop like a zip tie on the shelf above, makes you feel like a genius. Because now look, I can do gravel vac, or I can feed the fish, snails so far, or I can do whatever I need to, and the lid is up out of the way, and the tension actually is going to kind of keep it from slipping off the back rim. So I'm pretty pleased with that, actually. Like, that's going to work real nice, I think. Now, in previous videos, you may have noticed this ugly tank sitting up on top of my rack. This was my pride and joy tank for a long time, until I fell out of the hobby. When all the fish died, I just let it run dry. And now I have this mess. So this is the mother of all dried algae deposits, fossilized algae almost, and hard water stains. And I've kind of been dreading how to get it clean. And then I decided, you know what, I'm going to get a scraper. Which this one almost works. Come on. There we go. It's just a razor blade. I'll be able to replace the blade easily when it gets dull. And I just wanted to show you what this looks like to use this thing. It works so well. Oops. Up until it pops out of the little stop, anyway. In the past, I'd tried to deal with situations like this by filling the tank, letting it soak in really well, and then trying to scrub it out with a scrubby sponge. Huge mistake. Massive. Do not do that. You want to take it out of the equation with a scraper before you ever get it wet. This is a completely dry tank. Hasn't had any water in it in years. And just to show you what those scrapings look like, I don't know if it's because the hard water deposits are so thick or if it's the algae involved, but it comes off, it almost rolls off in these sheets. It's disgusting. But, you know, one of these days it's going to look beautiful again. And here's my tank full of overcooked bladder snails. Yeah, still a little ticked off about that, but you know, whatever, it happens. I wanted to show you just quickly how I get the trickle system started for water changes. It's the easiest thing in the world, just about. Basically, let's see, I've got this held in place with a little magnet clip up here, but basically I've got a little syringe connected to an airline. The airline runs all the way up into the holding tank, which is directly above in this case. I've got the end of the tube in the holding tank actually pulled up off the bottom a ways, so I'm not going to drain all 40 gallons into this little 10-gallon tank, because that would be silly. But I am going to sort of rearrange my clips here just slightly and I'll probably drain about 10 gallons from the holding tank into this. You run into the, what do you call it, the diminishing returns, because instead of draining the tank first and then adding an equal amount of water back in, I'm actually, every clean drop that comes in is mixing with the dirty water, if that makes sense. So it's not a perfect water change. It's not going to be 100% water change or the equivalent. But it is going to be a pretty good change nonetheless. And just for the record, I'm not actually doing this because of the water temperature. I mean, it would cool down and the snails will be fine. I'm doing this because the nitrates are a bit higher than I wanted. So, yeah. It was just time for a water change, and I was afraid of that. I need to just dispense with that valve altogether, to be honest with you. There, no more valve. It wasn't really adding enough to the equation to be worthwhile anyway. So, yep, there that is. So anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I hope you'll visit the subscribe button if you haven't already. I'd like to see you back for the next one. Thank you guys so much. Bye-bye.